What's up, good people and fellow comedy fans? It's your favorite comic on the come up, back for season 4 of the Comedy Chatter Podcast. If y'all have been searching for a podcast that talks all things comedy, as well as kicking with some of the dopest comedians in the business, then this is the podcast for you. What's good, good people? It's your man, Damon Williams, a.k.a. Melly Mel, back with my triumphant return to the Comedy Chatter Podcast, Season 4, Episode 1. Yes, we are rolling right along. The only audio comedy podcast from the perspective of an up-and-coming comedian. Hey, man, I'm happy. You already know how happy I am every time I do one of these podcast episodes, man. I was able to get an OG in comedy, man, a vet for over 25 years doing stand-up. My man, Damon Williams. Y'all know him from the Tom Joyner Morning Show radio. Y'all know him from Comic View on TV. Won a couple episodes to get his own hour special back then when Comic View was popping. You guys are going to get so much insight and so much information from my man, Damon Williams, because he was full of info. And that's why I do these, man. I do these so I can learn, but also so I can spread that knowledge to all you guys, all you up-and-coming comedians out there, man. People that's just starting their comedy journey. People that's years into their comedy journey, just still trying to figure out, how to, feature, how to headline, you know what I'm saying? Even host and open mics and stuff like that, man. This is the podcast for y'all, I'm telling you. You got to tell your friends, everybody just doing those open mics. I'm going to get into that in a sec. But everybody just out there going to those open mics and all that, man, you want to listen to this podcast and tell your friends that are doing it, man. Because, hey, man, we are truly a comedy community. And so, hey, that's the reason why I do these, man. Also, I want people to know a little bit more about me. I want them to know a little bit more about my comedy journey. So yeah, man, that's why I'm on my podcast, and here we are 34 episodes later, season 4, episode 1. Hey, I'm gonna continue to do the journey. I'm gonna continue the journey, ladies and gentlemen. Shout outs. You already know how I do it. I start off with my shout outs. My man, Roger Feeney, the comedy promoter over there at the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. He was the guy that saw my vision way back in the day. I told him, I said, hey, I want to do a comedy podcast, man. Is it all right if I use the green room? And, when folks come through, I interview them. He was like, of course. Yeah, he said nothing else but of course. And the podcast was born right there in our Comedy Showcase green room. That is my home club. I love them, respect them. Hopefully I get a chance to come back there and do a little bit more work, a little more emceeing, a little more featuring. Definitely. They already told me to keep a lookout. So, Mr. Roger Feeney, my first shout out. Second, David Pippen. David Pippen, my boy. He's the guy that also believed in my vision, man. After I got the green room from Roger, I hit up a friend who told me, hey, man, you need to contact this guy named David Pittman. He's good with all that sound and editing. He's got his own radio station, man, and all that stuff. Y'all make sure y'all check out David Pittman, too, man. Go to Facebook and search his name and all his information as far as his, technology and radio stuff that he does, radio stations and things of that nature. Check him out, man. If you guys are hip to, his radio station and all that, or you're not hip to it, should I say? Yeah, go check David Pittman out. Good brother, man. New segment, man. Y'all got to get into this, man. I had to get into it, too, because I'm going to miss the Back in the Day sponsor. Y'all know I used to do the Back in the Day sponsor. I did that for 3 seasons. But now all the damn businesses and stuff coming back. Ain't no businesses closing down. So, shit, if y'all ain't hip to the Back in the Day sponsor, go back and listen to a couple of old episodes, man, and y'all check out the Back in the Day sponsor and see how I used to do that. But the new segment, Old Man Rant. Y'all know that's part of my act, man. When I get on stage, I talk about me just getting old and, the trials and tribulations of doing that. And so, man, I'm starting to realize the older I get, the more I just get, perturbed at certain shit. I get what I'm saying? I have way more pet peeves than I did. My patience level ain't the way it used to be. So, yes, that's what my new segment is going to be. My Old Man Rant. And my Old Man Rant this time goes like this. Okay, look. Christmas ain't until December. Okay? Let me repeat that shit. Christmas isn't until December. You understand me? So I'm sick of some bitches soon as Easter is over, these motherfuckers putting up their Christmas tree and you know what I'm saying? Like putting lights and shit outside. Like, dog, dude. Like, it ain't Christmas yet. You understand? Like, you know what I'm saying? People right after Halloween, they, they ain't even threw their pumpkin away yet. They jack-o'-lantern still on the porch. And they going to Christmas. You going over their house, you getting in their car, Donny Hathaway already playing this Christmas. Like, stop. Like, stop it. Like, shit, we still got Thanksgiving to get through. You know what I'm saying? You still got other holidays you got to get through. Like, calm down. Christmas will be here. You know what I mean? Like, man, I'm talking about, it's the Black Friday and these fools. And I really can't stand that. Them some big Black Friday, oh my God. They in line 12 o'clock midnight trying to go buy shit. Like, go sit down somewhere. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, they overemphasize Christmas way too much. For those of y'all who got kids, hey, more power to you. You got to go out and buy your stuff for your kids and all that. But, hopefully you teaching your kids like that ain't it. Like, Christmas, you ain't just supposed to be getting no damn toys on Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like Christmas is just too much in America. I'm sorry. That's all I'm trying to say. It's too much. Some bitches will go broke on Christmas. Standing in them damn lines Black Friday, putting up them damn lights. You still got Thanksgiving to go through. I'm talking about serious. Christmas is a lot. So my old man rant, hey, Christmas isn't until December, ladies and gentlemen. How about we wait till then, for all that happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Look. Next some bitch tell me happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and it ain't December yet, we're going to have a serious problem. That's all I'm trying to say. Old man rant. That's Christmas ain't until December. I'm trying. And stop stereotyping motherfuckers too. Y'all do that. Round of applause for that. Stop when you see people, stop stereotyping. Round of applause for that. We all stereotype people. You see people and you think stuff. No, if you want to get to know somebody, hey, hello, my name is Mel. Like, you get to know them. Stop looking. I know everybody looking at me and you stereotype me and you think a certain, hey, man, I bet he likes this. No. Like, I'm different, man. Like, I know people look at me and probably think I like rap music. No, not at all. I'm a country and western guy. Yeah, seriously, man. You know what I like to do? I like to just put on a hoodie and everything, just look how I look, and just go to country and western bars and just act a fucking fool. Oh yeah. I jump right on the stage, I take the microphone out of their hand, and I just sing all type of shit. I be in that motherfucker going in like, I'm gonna love you forever. Forever and ever, amen. As long as old men sit and talk about the weather, as long as old women sit and talk about old men, if you're wondering if I'm gonna be faithful, I'll be happy to tell you again that I'm gonna love you forever and ever, forever and ever, forever and ever, forever and ever, amen. Shit, I told you. And guess what? At the end of the night, we all drinking beer. They're like, I was worried about you at first. But you're one of us. All right. What am I chatting about this go round? I just saw that to make the mood a little more serious a little bit. Of course, I just saw that this dude, Kyle Rittenhouse, was acquitted on all charges over there in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I know all y'all are hip to it at this point, man. Little boy that went over there and, shot up a couple people. I think he shot 3 people, killed 2 of them. Shot one of them 4 times with an illegal rifle that he purchased in Illinois and drove over to Wisconsin. So he basically drove over state lines, 17 years old, killed these people. And these fools said, and this is what kicked me, not guilty on all charges. So that means he didn't do shit wrong, basically, right? That's what I was thinking about when I heard all charges. Now, see, like, I didn't really follow the case all that much, I'll be honest, you know what I mean? Like, I heard that basically it was a Black Lives Matter protest, but what was a trip about this whole thing is that he killed 2 white dudes and shot. Well, he didn't kill any black people. So they couldn't make this whole thing a racial tone in that aspect. But the racial tone is obvious. Like, if that had been a black kid that went over there and did that at a Antifa rally, or if that had been a black dude at the insurrection that went over there and shot those people, this would be totally different. You know what I mean? And I'm the type of cat that don't really like to make everything about race. Let's take a second and throw race out of this. Let's make everybody clear. Nobody's black, nobody's white, nobody's Indian. Let's just make everybody clear. How on earth can this young man get an illegal rifle at 17 years old, purchase it illegally, drive across state lines, get out, come outside to a place where he wasn't even invited, and nobody say, "Hey, we need you to come, help our business and all that," which was found out in the trial. They said that the person was like, "No, we ain't asking him to come do." So he basically just said this shit himself. So in other words, he was coming over there for the smoke. He came over there for the trouble. Killed 2 people, and then the jury say he acquitted of everything? Like, come on. Like, I wasn't thinking that his ass was probably going to be acquitted. Some, they said that people would lunged at him and all that, and they trying to say the video shows self-defense. Bitch, how is it self-defense if you came over there for the smoke? I can't break in your house. And then you try to kill me and I kill you and say, "Oh, that was self-defense." No, that's not how this shit work. But they get it. The way the justice they had in this courtroom, oh my God. This judge, man. So all I say to this, I don't want to stay on it too long, but all I say to this whole situation right here, very sarcastically too. I say this very with much sarcasm. Hey, best of luck to you, Kyle Rittenhouse. Best of luck, because, hey, you acquitted, you exonerated. They said your ass didn't do nothing wrong, basically. So you get to go back home. You're 18 years old now. Well, best of luck to you, man. Let's see what you parade your life into nowadays, man. Because, hey, nobody gonna forget this. Nobody gonna forget that shit. Ain't nobody gonna forget you. Now you got to live your life being that person. If you was really that emotional about what you did with that old fake ass cry and all that on stage on the stand, and let's see if you still, that shit still gonna bother you to this day. That's what we gonna see. Best of luck to you. Next up, man, I had a chance to do something real interesting recently, just this past week. And it's interesting because I hadn't done one in a long time. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, for those of y'all who know, like, I've been, doing stand-up, for damn near 13 years now. 10 plus years, man. I started in I started in 07. So I've been doing stand-up a while, let's just say. And I realized recently that I had not done an open mic in a long time. Like, I mean, when I say open mic, I mean, like, the clubs usually, have weekend shows, and then they have like headliners come in and they do shows. I'm used to those. Now, I'm not a headliner. I've never headlined, but I do features. I do MC. I host, and then I do guest sets on those nights. So I hadn't been an open mic in a long time, let alone performed at one. And man, shout out to my man Amaru over at in Lansing. He's got his own club called Funny is Funny. And, hey, man, he basically converted an old movie theater into like a club spot for a comedy club. And, he does other stuff in there, too. Editing, bays. And, he's going to try to, do some movies and things in there. But, man, he's got a real nice setup, real good stage. And, man, I performed at an open mic for, shit, I hadn't performed in an open mic in I don't know how long, man, and it was so like, it was so, what's the word? What's the best word for it? It was so like fulfilling. Like, that was probably the best word for it. It was fulfilling because I got a chance to just get up there and, just try some stuff out and, do some old stuff and work on some stuff. But the most fulfilling part of it was seeing like these new jacks that was just coming in there and just beginning. You know what I'm saying? One guy said, "Yeah, this is my first time up." And, every time they came off the stage, man, I made sure to sit next to the stage and, give them a fist bump and let them know, "Hey, man, yeah, keep that shit up." Open mics are rough because, some of them are, let's keep it real. Some of them are terrible. Some of them do terribly. They jokes don't go over well and this, that, and the other. And it's not a lot of people in there. So, you don't get the laughs. You know what I'm saying? But that's where you get good. And that's what I was appreciating. I was appreciating being back in a place where, because that's how I started. That's where I started. Open mic. That's where everybody, that's where you start. So yeah, man, man, shout out to all of them cats over there. I can't remember their names, but they got a nice little open mic over Tuesday nights in Lansing, Michigan. Funny is Funny comedy club, man. Amaru runs it. Y'all might want to check that out if y'all still, you know what I'm saying, if y'all are in the Lansing area and y'all are interested in doing some stand-up or beginning your comedy journey. Check out the website and check out how that works, man. Seriously. All right, without further ado, My man Damon Williams dropped some knowledge on us, man. He said so much stuff. We talked about all types of things. We both from the Chi. He born and raised in the Chi. I was born in the Chi as well until I I left early, but Chicago's still home. So without further ado, man, y'all got to check out this awesome interview with my man, Mr. Damon Williams, here on the Comedy Chatter Podcast, Season 4, Episode 1. Let's get it. Welcome back to the Comedy Chatter Podcast, the only comedy podcast from the perspective of an up-and-coming comic. I got my man. I've been tracking him down for a long time. But I finally got him on location here in Chi-Town, my hometown. Happy to be home. You from here too, right, Dane?
Born and raised.
Born and raised, Chi-Town, Chicago, Illinois. The one and only Mr. Damon Williams.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here, part of the podcast. I'm glad you were able to fly in for this situation.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, because actually I was supposed to be in Atlanta coming up, but I don't know if that's going to even take place. So we're going to be do it right now.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, see, that worked out. Because, I usually try to catch cats when they come into the ATL. Yeah. But, hey, like I said, I'm on location wherever I need to be because everybody know I'm trying to make this podcast thing happen. And whenever I get to interview dope comedians, man, hey, I come out.
Appreciate
so,
it.
Definitely. Now, you probably don't remember this, but me and you shared the stage together before. So, I'm going to take you back. Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Wow.
Morris Lawrence building over there at the Washington Community College. Now, I don't know if you remember or not, but we had a promoter that night that didn't do too well with the building. So, my one question to you, you answer or not, did you wind up getting paid?
I got my money. I can tell you right now. The fact that you brought up that city, if you just said it, I ain't get my money. Oh, that's that motherfucker they didn't pay. No, I got mad. I'm sorry if they stiffed you, bro.
Hey, man.
But let me tell you, if you do this thing, even when you look and you see a small crowd or whatever, first of all, you want to go up regardless for the people that showed up because they have nothing to do with the promotion.
Exactly.
But you also want to get your money first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, see,
because you can't take your jokes back.
Yes, exactly. See, I'm not at the point. I'm an up-and-coming cat, especially then, so I wasn't at the point. And first of all, this was my birthday night. He had told me, man, you do comedy, man, I'm doing this show. And I was like, oh, that's on my birthday, man. So I was just happy to just kind of do stand-up.
You probably had people comment. You probably had people that bought tickets. So I'm telling this to I don't give a damn if it's your first booking ever. Try to get your money first.
Hey, I have plans.
Come respectful. Like, hey, no disrespect, but this is business. I typically, this is what you said, like you've been doing it forever.
Yeah.
I typically get paid prior to my performance because I can't get it afterwards. So, no disrespect. Not saying you ain't got me, but I would feel more comfortable, and I think I'll be funnier if I already have my money.
Yes, I'm glad you said that too, and that's where all the
because we be happy just to go up. We be happy to be on the show.
Like doing it.
If you're on a show with a big name, you don't want nothing to throw that off. You want to be part of the show, but this is a business first. So, like Monique would tell the promoter from Kings and Queens of Comedy, she was like, no money, no funny. And he had it, but it was just her practice. Aretha Franklin the same way. Not only did she get her money first, she had her money in cash.
Yes. I think I saw a little bit of her on her little.
I ain't see the movie. I got that from a theater owner where I used to do New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
He told me. He said they had to sit out and count her money. And he said one time he was sitting there and it was counting her money. And she was about to get dressed. And he said he happened to look over in the corner and she was like in her pre-show clothes. So her clothes was laid out. And he said it was the biggest brassiere he ever seen. There's an old white guy telling me this story. My man Charlie Blum. He's like, it's the biggest brassiere I ever seen. He said, I think she could take all her money in the bra.
Put it there.
True story.
Exactly. Okay, so you say you were born and raised here in Chi-Town.
Yeah.
I'm a Michael Reese baby. What about you? How can you remember the hospital?
Cook County
Hospital.
Nobody had no benefits in this when we was born. Y'all bougie. You went to Michael Reese. Even though my son was born in Michael Reese.
You know what? It was to hurt my heart though. I came home thinking I was about to nostalgia go drive past it. Hey, bricks. I was like, what? Like, y'all need to like email somebody or something, tell them
your birthplace is out of here.
Like, man, it hurt. So So since you from Chi-Town too, I'm a huge Bulls fan. So you gotta tell me, man, what your take is on Scottie Pippen just kind of scorching the earth right now on Michael and everything. Like, how you feel about that, man?
I got personal insight on that because my sister dated Scottie early in his career.
Okay.
So I hung out with them. And I had season tickets to the Bulls as well. So
Yeah.
I watched the whole progression. So for Scottie to go from that skinny little country bumpkin from Alabama, who didn't know nothing about the city and didn't have no heart, he was getting punked by the Pistons, to go and come here and get toughened up by Mike, and they sharpened each other, because Scottie got skills. He's a good player.
Of course.
But, the mentality, he didn't have the killer mentality. Mike instilled that in him and took him to become one of the greatest players of all time. He's one of the 50 greatest. He's on the Hall of Fame. He got 6 rings.
Exactly.
He's been an MVP or almost MVP. He won MVP at All-Star. So just rest in your legendary status. Everybody, it's 2 OJs, but everybody know Eddie Levert. But you think the other OJ is mad? No, he's still rich. He's still one of the OJs. So,
exactly.
It's really, and for it to be this far off, later in the game, you're a legend.
25, 30 years later,
man,
now
I
you
got
coming.
a problem with that. That's lame as hell. It's bogus. And if you felt that way, you should have kept it to yourself, took it to the grave. Or y'all should have squashed that as men.
Squash it as
Just to
men.
take it out
Now
here.
you putting it, I think it's a book.
Yeah.
Yep.
The book, though, this is not going to sell books because all of the highlights we've hearing is him sounding like a hater. So I don't want to read the rest.
True.
You're going to miss all the life stories and the fact that he, came up from humble beginnings and all the stories and his brothers and sisters and all that. He got a lot of stories. But everybody going to want to get to that because the sensational headlines have been hating on Mike the whole time. And it's a lot of it. The man just also, an excerpt, Stephen A. Smith interviewed him or talked about the book and said in the book he admitted that he never, and I guess it was purposely, never gave his condolences when Mike lost his father because he was salty that Mike was leaving the team.
Exactly.
So man.
So when you score,
and I have like personal static with that cat, but I won't even bring that up.
Ah, okay. So yeah,
I'm not hating. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we gotta get. But yeah, you said you got backstory, so yeah,
Real
definitely. All right, so I always ask comedians this: did you find comedy, or did comedy find you? Basically, meaning like, was you one of the people that just kind of was naturally funny in school, and everybody's like, you should do comedy, or were you one of the people like, man, I think that's kind of cool. I think I'm gonna just start going to these clubs on my own and see what I got.
Yeah, I pretty much found comedy because I was always a student and I always had a great appreciation for comedy, going back into the early days of watching late night talk shows with the old comedians like Bill Cosby and Nipsey Russell, and I'm talking about way back. There's one black comic that we didn't really give a lot of love to that we don't know was one of the groundbreaking social conscious comics. I always like to mention Franklin the Jai. He played the Fly.
Franklin.
He was the guy in the car wash with the big afro. So I've always watched, even the white comedians like Bob Hope. I'm talking about Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Don Rickles was a beast because he was an insult comic. So I've always loved it. But not until the 80s when Eddie Murphy broke on the scene and made it viable as far as seeing the status he took it to. Because, we heard comedy back then. You didn't really see it. I don't know how old you are, but back in the day, we had to listen to albums and cassettes and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Once the, VCRs came out, we could see Eddie Murphy
HBO,
raw
VCR and all that.
Yeah, and all that. So we had access to it raw. And then when Def Jam hit, I saw people from Chicago walking around in my face that been on HBO doing stand-up. So I'm like, I think I could do that if they could. So that's what made it accessible.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to know. Now, in terms of being shy, coming up in Chi-Town, I know y'all got kind of like a comedy fraternity. So I always ask people, like, did Damon Williams come up with other folk? Like, did you come up with people?
Yeah.
Like, you had like some of the comedians around here, or were you a lone wolf just kind of out here by yourself?
No, we a squad in the Chi, man. Especially in the 90s, like the Def Jam era, Comic View was my saving grace. Comic View.
Yeah.
Def Jam passed on me a couple times, actually.
Okay.
And in fact, I'm kind of glad they did, because when I really thought I was ready, the set I would have done for Def Jam would not have been groundbreaking as the set was that I eventually did on Comic View. So, it was a blessing and a curse. It hurts when you come and audition and you don't make it, but then sometimes, it's meant to be.
He got you.
So, I came up in the era, our first, my class is Deion Cole, George Wilborn, Kenny Howe, Tony Schofield. Adele Givens was the first person to give me the mic because she was the open mic host at All Jokes Aside when I started.
Oh, yep, All Jokes. I had that on here.
When she moved on to Success, I took her place, so I was the successor. It's a lot of other people like Jay Deep. You see all these people on Comic View if you look at the old days.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of people.
I was a huge Comic View fan.
So we all came up, and then once I got on the first time, I didn't win because it was a competition in 94. I went back in 96 and I won. And when I won, I came home and I created like a Comic View audition. I started taping everybody. So as opposed, back in the day, you had to send a VHS tape. If they pick you, you get on. If they didn't, they didn't, because Comic View didn't come out. Def Jam would come around. Bob Sumner would come and scout.
Yeah.
So we had to send in tapes. So I felt like it was more productive if we sent in a unified tape, and if everybody was on the tape, then they could pick who they wanted, versus them going through a bunch of individual tapes. They might not get to everybody.
Yeah.
So once I met the producers, I'm like, I'm gonna send in the Chicago tape.
Damn.
So it'd be 40, 50 people on the tape.
Damn.
And one year, I know at least 26 people got picked.
Damn.
And that introduced people like D. Ray Davis, Marcus Combs, Leon Rogers, comedian Muhammad, Marlon Mitchell, J. Deep, Cherie Luckett. I'm talking about all these people came up off these tapes I did.
Damn,
so
that's huge.
I kind of got a lineage from that. But my mentors in the game was people like George Wilborn, who was actually my cousin.
Shout out Wilborn,
but I didn't meet him until I started doing stand-up.
Okay.
And then, of course, Bernie Mac was the godfather, the don of all of this.
Yes.
Another comedian in Chicago don't get enough recognition, but he was holding it down before all of them. Was a comedian named Dose, goes by the name Fernando's Johnson, but he went up to me as Dose.
Okay.
And he was the bomb. He was running around doing stuff around town before a lot of people was doing it. So that's the thing. And then after me and the people I brought up that I mentioned, then D-Ray kind of took the torch, and he brought up people like Lil Rel, Dan Fool, Wildcat, Michi Hall, and then they subsequently brought in the Just Niches and the Corey Bells. And things like that. So it's been Chicago, we a unified squad.
I love to hear that too. Yeah. That's exactly where
Craig
all of them supposed to be.
was part of our class.
Okay, yeah. See, that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
The fact that you just said that you went to Comic View, and then once you got on, came back yourself and did those tapes. Yeah. Damn, that's huge.
Well, I got that from Diane Corder, who got me on because she would do the mass audition type situation.
Damn.
So I got to give her love for that.
Yeah.
And so me and B. Cole went that year, and we were two of the. As a matter of fact, they had 5 finalists that year. They used to do 40 to 5. 3 of them were from Chicago. It was me, B. Cole, Cheryl Underwood. Then it was Hope Flood and Montana Taylor. And they had some situation going on with Montana, and they gave her the show. It was kind of rigged for her to have it. And I found that out to be confirmed later in dates, but I ain't trip on it.
I do remember your Montana Taylor.
Yeah, Coochie Coupon.
Exactly. Now, you did get a hour, though, right?
Yeah.
Like you won. Like
so that year, at that time, they gave all the finalists their own hour special. So D.C. Curry was the host of my season.
Okay.
The second time I did. The first time, Cedric was the host. I didn't win on the Cedric year. I won with D.C. Curry. So D.C. brought me out on my special. And then me and B. Cole and Cheryl Underwood, 3 of the 5 finalists won those hours that year, and they selected Montana Taylor at the end of the process.
Gotcha. Now, how was your? I've interviewed Hope. I've interviewed a whole bunch of other people that's been on Comic View. How would you say your Comic View experience was? I know some people just, hey man, it was positive, but then there's some people like, hey man, they only paid you, they stiffed you, blah blah blah. So what's your what's your take on your experience?
First of all, you can't look back at a situation and then complain about the deal. If you accepted the deal when you did the show, then that's Class A1, like I started, business first. So if you accepted the pay, you knew what the pay was. You knew when you come out here, you get this certain amount of money. You don't get a hotel. They didn't fly you out. It's a showcase. But from that showcase, if you do well, you will establish an entire career.
Exactly.
So my career
most of
came
them did.
from Comic View. Not only did I enjoy doing it the first time and the second time, which were both low paying, like I probably got $500 for the hour special. And they still selling that online. And I don't even care about that because of the repetition of the plays. Now, Def Jam was different. If you did Def Jam, they saw you once, maybe twice. HBO didn't run it. Comic View was on 6 nights a week, and they ran out of shows, so they had to do reruns.
Exactly.
So you basically had your own series. So I'm all about Comic View. The 30th anniversary is coming up, and I've been talking to people at BET. I'm trying to get them to commemorate that fact in 2022.
Oh man, that would be awesome. Yeah, go throw that on BET. Everybody will watch too.
Man, everybody looking forward to it.
Yeah, we all was just same way they did that Def Jam 25
or
on
Motown
Netflix.
25. This is as big as that because if you look at all the names attached to Comic View, Michael Blackson, JB Smoove, Earthquake, Bruce, all the hosts, Gary Owens, Sid DL, Michael Collier. It goes on and on. Arnez J was a host. Some more. So Gary Owen. It's crazy. So it's big. All these people are still headliners to this day.
Yes. Now we got you already touched on it, but we got to get to Kings of Comedy. So yeah, that was highest grossing, one of the highest grossing tours ever. I heard you had used to. Now tell me your role in it. You was hosting at one point, or was you just kind of involved?
The host, the first year the tour went out, it was Guy Torrey as the host with Bernie, Sid, and Steve Harvey as the headliner. But that wasn't working for energy-wise, and Steve was supposed to be closing. And so Steve didn't want to host without having someone come out before him. So they added D.L. Hughley, and then Steve was the host, Bernie was the headliner.
Got it.
But Steve being Steve, he not gonna come up first, so they needed somebody to come out and do 10 minutes in the beginning of the show.
Kind of like a warm up.
And then after the intermission, come back out and get everybody settled. So that was my role.
Oh.
So it started out they were going to do local comedians in each city.
But you went to all.
Well, they couldn't find consistency, so they narrowed it down to 2 people, and then the other person fell out with the promoter. So subsequently, I got the tour for 30 dates.
Oh hell yeah! See, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Including Chicago. We got to come home to United Center twice.
United Center.
And we did Madison Square Garden, the full garden, not the theater.
Damn. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So I had to be now.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was about to ask. You already answered one of my questions, but I was gonna have was how did the lineup kind of settle in? So you just did perfect when you did that. That's how the lineup.
Every once in a while they would kind of interchange Sid would close. I may have seen Sid close 2 or 3 of them, but out of the 30, Bernie was pretty much. It became apparent that Bernie needed to go last. Because what people don't realize is during that era, Bernie was the only one doing movies. Everybody else had been doing TV. Steve had the Steve Harvey show.
Sid was on there with him.
Sid was on that. And then DL had the Hughley's.
Had his show,
But Bernie we knew him from parts in movies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
in fact, Bernie never
was stealing
did.
the movies, too.
Yeah, every cameo, he would kill it. So Bernie never did a special. People don't realize that either. So all the special material that you have on Bernie only comes from clips that Walter Latham has online from the Kings of Comedy, and that's unfortunate. I do know for a fact that Bernie was planning to do a tour and a special, and that was going to be his retirement from stand-up, and he was going to stay on film, and I was supposed to go out with him and host it. That was a conversation he and I had.
Damn.
Yeah, and he passed away before it happened.
Damn, yes. Rest in peace, Bernie. Yeah, I know, like, exactly. Especially being here in Chicago. Yeah. I just watched it recently. Like, you talking about them Walter Latham clips.
Plenty of it up.
The one where it was final performance at the United Center.
He just put that up recently.
I watched that recently. Yep. So, let's go to radio. You Tom Joyner Morning Show. Yeah, tell me how that experience was. 'Cause I know everybody loves kind of working with Tom, from what I hear.
Tom is the radio GOAT, man. Nobody did it like Tom. Tom had 100 cities simultaneously in the morning show. He was the first black syndicated radio host. He's in the Radio Hall of Fame, and I have the honor and privilege to now call him a friend. I still talk to him. He invited us out to Cabo to hang out with him. He rented a whole house for his friends.
Oh man, I heard somebody told me a story about when they went to his house.
Oh, his house is another. But when he vacations, he go all the way ham.
All the way.
But I mean, I pursued that opportunity because I always thought radio was a good stepping stone for what we do, because if you get a radio audience, then now you can sell tickets because they're used to hearing you on a regular basis. And if you could do it in Tom Joyner's show, then you're in 100 cities. So Tom kind of rejuvenated my career. After Comic View, there was kind of a lull. There's still no vehicle that has replaced that for people to watch comedy. So if you didn't make it to film and television, then people wondering what you're doing. So I remember when I was hanging with my son and somebody came in a restaurant, oh, that's dude, man, from Comic View. But Comic View had been gone off the air for 10 years. So he's like, man, it's time for you to get a new credit. It's like, I mean, it's cool, but it's, it's time to get relevant. I stumbled into it. I started pursuing Tom to be on the Sky Show, which was a live broadcast he would do here. He would do it at DuSable or the Regal Theater. It's the radio show he does, but it'll be a live band. It'll be live with a live audience. I just wanted to get on the Sky Show. Then after I got on the Sky Show, I wanted to get on the cruise. After getting on the cruise, I didn't think I had an opportunity, but I wanted to get on his show. So what happened, he had Cheryl Underwood on his show doing a segment, but Cheryl jumped ship and went over to Steve Harvey, left for opening. So I wanted to pursue that, but they got Dominique right away. But Deion Cole called me and said, man, I don't know if you got any features you want to do, but they called me since he was writing for Conan. They asked him if he could write some segments for Tom's show.
Okay.
He was too busy, so he said, you need to call Nikki Woods, the executive producer, who's from here, and we know her. And they looking for something. So I was like, well, let me call her. And that's how we came up with doing obscure stories from the online that didn't make the news. Then they kind of scaled it down to just stupid criminals. So I started doing seriously ignorant news.
Okay, and, all right.
Seriously Ignorant News led to me filling in for Jay Anthony whenever he was out.
Exactly.
And then they gave me my own day the last 2 years on Friday. It was Damon Williams Fridays.
And you've been killing that.
And I was on his very last broadcast because it was Friday.
Gotcha. Yeah, you've been killing that too. Yeah, definitely. That's how people know you. Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he retired, and now we're on to the next one.
Yeah, okay. Now I always have to ask people of your caliber this. You've been, 20 plus years in the game.
Right.
Like the whole social media thing, man. Like social media and kind of taking over. And so, for somebody like you that's been kind of, grinding in the clubs for so long, how do you feel about the whole social media movement now with comedians that you'll just kind of see like, hey, they do a couple of videos and then they out there headlining in the same clubs you are?
It depends on who it is and how they're doing it, because some of these comics are, they were video and social media phenomenons, but they've actually been students of the business and they've come in and put in the work and the grind. They defer to headliners. DC Young Fly, I got a lot of respect for him because he has a lot of respect for the OGs. He always gives his respect to that. Ryan, what's his name? Ryan Davis. Ryan Davis is a comic that
just saw him on Insecure the other day.
Yeah, he popped off on social media, but he's a stand-up. People like Tony Baker, who has his niche,
TB,
but he's from Chicago. And he's an actual comic as well. So any of the old heads, and I don't want to call them old heads, but traditional, because we came up in the traditional route. So in our era, we had TV too. We had cable. So in our era, you made it to cable, you made a career. Now, if you get the followers, the views, and you're funny, you come from social media. It's just a different. You got to give them credit for what they do in the era that they came up with. You can't begrudge them for not having to go through the bullshit we went through because they didn't come up. That'd be like me being mad, or that'd be like Red Fox and them being mad because they had to go through the back door. It ain't my fault that in the 60s and 50s they had to go through the back door. I'm going through the front because the front was open. So same thing with social media. As long as they have respect for the business and they come and they deliver a show. Because it's one thing to come and you sold the place out, but you ain't got nothing to talk about.
You got 5 minutes.
Yeah, but I say they learning on the job. Country Wayne, another one. I watched his progression. He started out just kind of shaky, but now he's a full-fledged comedian. He's killing it. He deserves every props he gets. Plus, he's good at what he does on social media.
All right. Yeah, that's a good way to think of it, too. That's a good way to think of it. All right, last but not least, I always ask this question to kind of close things up. Who is Damon Williams fanning on? Like, who is making Damon Williams laugh? It could be like some new people, or it could be like, some of the kings, like anybody out there.
It's a lot of people. So, I'll give you the whole rundown. Like, I feel like Richard Pryor was the greatest. I think Eddie Murphy was the most talented. I think George Carlin was the most accomplished because he had about 12 one-hour specials. Only accomplished in the media's sake.
I see what you mean.
Because Richard could do 12 hours.
Could do anything.
Eddie only did 2 specials, but he still was so super talented. And then when he took every genre of comedy he's touched has been gold. And so that's my comedy idol. Richard is my comedy inspiration. Red Fox was great. Locally, or coming up now, of course, Chappelle is the GOAT right now for his stance.
Exactly.
Cat Williams is a beast. Mike Epps is an original. When Chris Tucker was on his thing, he did well. Martin Lawrence, we can't forget him and all he meant to comedy. Yeah. And then some more, I got a lot of respect for her.
Oh, man.
Because she runs her own tour. She always has new material. She has a work ethic.
I love me some more.
But then there's so many others that I could touch upon. Deion Cole, his last special was a classic. D. Ray Davis is killing it.
Did you see Deion in A Harder They Fall?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
He's a sinister motherfucker.
He getting down,
in
ain't
that movie.
Yeah. I'm proud of him. Was looking to making that. So once they make that switch, they can do drama and this, that, and the other, man.
Absolutely.
You know that,
No, but it's people coming up. Like the show I was on tonight, Just Niche is a beast.
Love her.
Chicago in general, our comedians come from here are amazing. People like, I mentioned Craig Robinson, Rodney Perry. Melanie Camacho is actually from Chicago. People don't really know that. She's toured with everybody, from Maxwell to everybody. Like Martin, she was on with him, all that. And then, it's people like Tony Roberts, who's hilarious. And then there's a multitude of very funny people on their way up.
Okay, so yes, you digging all of it. And they're definitely representing Chi-Town.
Yeah, it's a brother here named Marlon Mitchell and Muhammad. These 2 guys, when they together, they're electric. And when they do stand-up, it's amazing. And then out of Detroit, you got Mike Bonner. You got Foolish out of Detroit.
Yeah, that's
Rest in peace, Kool-Aid.
That's my neck of the woods right there.
Tony, what's my brother who just lost Downtown? Tony Brown was
Brown,
a beast.
Yep,
just lost. I could go on and on and on about so many people. People I love and respect like J. Anthony Brown and George Wallace. Those are my buddies now. Sinbad, amazing. People don't understand.
Oh, man, so underrated. So underrated.
Amazing, and he's ailing right now, so we praying for him.
Yes, definitely.
I just had AJ Jamal here. TK Kirkland is back and has researched with him doing the Vlad and the Breakfast Club, so now people are rediscovering him.
Exactly.
So the list goes on and on. Bill Bellamy, good friend, it's all good.
Cool, perfect. Hey, I got Damon, y'all. I got Damon Williams. Go ahead and tell everybody what where they can find you as far as your social media and all that, and whatever else you got coming up.
Hit DamonWilliamsComedy.com. That'll get you to all the link tree to all my social, which is Damon Williams Comedy on Instagram and Facebook. I have a series that's been little known, people haven't seen it, but it's a stand-up series. It's called Laugh Tonight with Damon Williams, but it's on the Black-owned streaming network called Urban Flix.
Urban Flix. Okay, I've heard of that.
TV. They got films. They got Black original content. It's Black-owned, top to bottom. All of them. Everybody working on the projects, under the film writers, everybody black. We need to support that. It's only like $5 a month. But it has 8 episodes of stand-up. Coming up, I'm in a film called White People Money. There's another movie called Can't Get Right, Me and Shorty. There's another film out there called Heaven on 7, and Not Another Black Movie. Jay Davis from here did a project called Creative Hustle, and it's like a resurgence of like Robert Townsend's Partner in Crime. He modeled it after that. So just find us, and you know, there's stuff out there.
Perfect. Yo, thanks so much for checking out the pod. A very special thanks to my man, Damon Williams. Make sure you check his website and his social media for future show, date information, and upcoming projects. Stay tuned for another episode of the Comedy Chatter Podcast, where we'll have another super dope comedian and, of course, me, Meldon Williams. Y'all make sure y'all keep listening, subscribing, and supporting. Y'all be good to yourselves and each other. Peace out.